Hi, this is Kylie Coo. Welcome to my studio and Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope it's a good one for all of us. So let's get started on the 2025 52-week project, and I will be bringing a flip through of the 2024 52-week project, hopefully in a few days' time. So this year I'm going to be doing something similar but different. So I've got here lots of scraps of paper now. This is actually watercolour paper. I think it's about 300 GSM, so probably about £140. It's hot pressed, so it's fairly smooth, although this particular one does have a little bit of a texture on it. But these are just all various scraps. So we're going to be working with scrap papers. They're different sizes. Let me get a ruler to tell you roughly. Oh, here we go. So let's see. Well, about 3.5 inches that way, and yeah, that one's closer to 4. So they're really all different sizes, but there or thereabouts. That one is at its widest about 5 inches long. So, as I say, going to be doing something kind of similar to last year, as in using scrap papers. I have dug out various bits and pieces of fabric. There's threads and whatnot. Oops, that's one on the floor already. I've got all these kind of sari silk type things, so I'm going to be using them. I'm going to do a bit of stitching on the paper. This is hard enough that I can probably stitch through. I will be using my inks and that kind of thing as usual, and again I'm going to kind of make it double-sided. The difference this year, it will involve more fabric, more sewing, stitches anyway, basic stuff, because I'm not really a sewer. But this year I'm going to make what I'm calling a spiral scroll. So I'll need to get something to attach onto the first page. The first page will go to the inside, but I'm not sure what that is yet. I've got a couple of sticks lying about that I might use one of them, but I've just not made up my mind yet. But what I want to be able to do is attach something, and then this would then start to fold round. You see the paper bends because it's quite a heavy paper, so you want a paper that can bend but that can also stand, because this will be something that will be standing up. So all different sizes here. I'm just going to start with this one, I think. I think what I'm going to do though is actually get a bit of colour onto a few in one go with my inks and onto the kind of backs of them. So as always, I've got some old book pages here, bits of map and whatnot. It's an old map, but it's not so old, it's vintage, so it doesn't actually look terribly old. Get a few pages down, just to catch any excess ink, although I'm going to try not to make too much of a mess. Right. Oh, it's cold. So I'm just going to put a few of these down. Just however many I can fit on, really. You see they're kind of irregular shapes. That's fine, because we're going to be attaching them in different ways to last year. Some will be the same as last year. Some might be sewn. Some might be fabric. Just don't know yet. Right, leave these to the side. Get my water spray. Okay, I don't know if these are all in camera. Pretty much. So I'm actually just going to start by putting a little scoosh of water on them. Also got a bit of kitchen towel. Don't usually use this, or don't use it very often, but I'm going to have that on standby. So I'm just putting water on first, then I'm going to drop my two favourite inks in, sepia and indigo. I just like the way that these mix together. Can that go out a bit? There we go, that's better. So after quite a mild spell for this time of year, it has now gone very cold again, and tiny amount of snow here yesterday, not a lot really, but oops, that one. Just help them along the way a bit. And I'll be doing this to the backs of all the cards, but I want to do them ahead of doing the front. At this point it's probably a little bit darker than I wanted, but that's okay. By the time I move it around and whatnot. What I'll do, I'll take some others, just put them together, they will absorb it. Right, I shall finish this off and then I'll be back. So I'm just working my way round them all, trying to make sure they're completely covered. I don't mind if it goes on the front, some of that will be covered up. I just want it to have this nice kind of look on the back, and because it's torn edges on the paper, that will also look good. I'll just keep going in the same manner until I've got them all covered. I'm in a right mess. So I'm just going to take my bit of kitchen towel, put that down. You'll see that that leaves some marks on it, which will just give a bit of pattern. So again, I'm just going to go along them all like this, and I will be reusing this at some point, so it's not that that's going to be wasted. And I'm now just going to dry them and dry the background. So I now have these pages. The ones to the top had more on them, so that will become collage in future, and it barely touched the maps, which is fine. So I've got all these pages now that I've got the back done on, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to make enough for the year. This is just enough to get me going just now, so I'll need 52 anyway. On the back, in places I just touched it with the kitchen towel and no more. Other places I did a little bit more. But that's just given them all, I think, a really nice organic look, and I've actually got plans to do more on the back, although some of that might be off camera, and some got a lot on the front as well, some less so. So I'm just going to pick one for starting with. I think I'm going to make it one of these longer pieces, just because I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to start this off. But let's put these to the side. And I think, given the time, I'm going to stop and have some lunch and then I shall be back to work on this. Okay, so this is the card I'm going to start with. This will be the back. This should give me a nice straight edge for whatever I decide to attach it to. I'm not sure. I will probably add something on. I'm just not sure at this stage. I think just because we've come out, I want this to be quite flamboyant, for want of a better word, on the inside. It's going to be, you know, nice, kind of quite muted on the back, although, as I say, I've got plans for decorating the back. So I've pulled out this Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay Cherry Red, and I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to paint it on though, mainly, I think. I don't want it too thick. Let me get a brush. That's the bird tapping away. Oh gosh, this is tight. It's on my roof light, roof window. Oh, I quite like that. Let's do this first. This will still show the markings underneath. Now, for this first one, I don't think I want to build up the layers too thick, because I do want it to be able to bend a bit. That's probably just off camera a bit. Just trying to get all the little white bits. Now I like that, because it's allowed those little marks to show through. So although it's bright, it's still got that slight grunginess to it. So I'm just going to dry this. So I've pulled out a couple of fabric scraps. That now looks quite bold against that. I quite like this. And I'm thinking of just kind of making some kind of, I don't quite know what. Don't want to cover it all up. I quite like the idea of that maybe sticking up a little bit at the top. Still not sure about this. I think it needs something else, so I'm going to have a rummage. I'm not feeling this colour, so I'm going to come in with the indigo and just kind of obliterate that as much as I can. It just didn't feel like me. Right, that feels better. Might even put another layer on. A thread or something in there. Another bit. Don't mind little bits of the red showing through, but I just wasn't feeling that colour at all. I feel happier at that. It's like a kind of purple now. That's okay. Right, I'll dry it. Right, I think I was kidding myself when I said I was going to make this flamboyant. I did pull this bit out, which would be quite nice along the bottom, just that bit itself. I've got this, which is quite nice. But I'm kind of very much drawn back to my kind of usual fabrics. I do like this little bit, maybe without the leaf on it though. Oh dear. I think I need to sit and think for a while. Right, I guess I am not feeling flamboyant today, so as an artist, I reserve the right to change my mind as often as I need to. Oh, that is quite incredible. You won't see it, but it says indigo. That's meant for this page. Okay, that feels better. Put some gesso on, didn't dry it, and then put the ink on top. So, and I have something much more in keeping with kind of me and what I like. So, I like this little bit. I think that's a bit of kitchen towel from way back. And I like this piece with these kind of threads. And I'm almost just thinking of kind of layering these somehow. Maybe it doesn't need much more than that. That's blending in quite a lot with that, but nevertheless I still quite like it. I think that's too close to that. How could I do that? Should I darken that? I think I did say last year I wasn't going to procrastinate as much, but hey. It's the name of the game sometimes. Better. Might be more than one layer to that. Try that. Right, I think this is the way it's going down. It's very dark against that background now, but I can maybe change that once I get them down. But if I don't get them down, I'm going to sit and faff for ages. This glue is just about finished. I think what I might do is stitch it, because I do want to do stitching. So if I can just get it held. I want some threads at the bottom. Sides. know that's a lot of glue for that bit, but I think it may have been 2 layers and kind of already stuck together, so I would actually quite like to machine stitch this. But down here. Dare I come back in with the red? Is it destined to be on there? I'm going to grind this with my Stabilo All just to see if that will help that stand out a little bit. Brush. I don't know. Spread that out. That's better. Right, I've put, I think, 7 holes in down there, not straight, not equidistant. I've got a piece of gold thread. I've put a knot so that it's going to be doubled. And I'm just going to start, I think I'm going to start from the front, work my way down. I'll have that tail there. I'll probably go down and actually come back up. Sorry, it's very hard to, find it hard to sew on camera. Find it hard to sew full stop. I was going to go in with a black thread. That ink's still wet, but I felt that it needed something just to lighten it up a little bit. Do I want it like that? Just left like that? It's quite nice on the back. Yep. Catch that bit of red before it runs. Right, cup of tea time, keep warm. I've just tied a very loose knot in that, and I'm just going to glue it in place. I'm going to push the holes back down. Don't mind them, but where did I put the pin? There it is. Still don't know that I'm feeling it. Feels as if it needs some sort of writing now. Maybe in white. I think I'm done. I started to write with a Posca pen. I couldn't get that right, so I put water on it right away and managed to get that off. Taken out my alphabet stamps. I was looking for these last week, couldn't find them, found them today. And I've used this, I don't know what the maker is, but it's a Moonlight white ink, and I've simply typed or stamped Persevere. So I just felt that was the message that was coming out today, Persevere. I kept changing my mind, it's gone in an entirely different direction to what I was kind of thinking. But that's fine. I am going to do something on the back. I might try and film that, but it won't be part of this video. So, gosh, that was a hard one. Really not what I expected, but that's okay. That's what art is about sometimes. Still not sure if I like this red stuff, but it's there, but not too bad. Not sure yet how, I don't know which piece I'll use next week, but these will be joined on somehow, maybe just glued. Of course, that's the back. So, we'll end up with something like that on the back, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, right, week 1, a difficult week. Let's hope it gets easier, but maybe this has kind of carried the idea on a bit. Maybe it's messages to self, spiral scroll. What do you think? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Do take care. Bye for now.